Let's learn the subjunctive forms of estar. They're actually very easy because they all share the stressed syllable ste. So imagine that you're behind the magic shop and there's a pile of mud full of junk. So this is a really muddy backyard and it's really kind of gross with garbage. The owner of the store tells you and your friends, "I want you all to stay here for a second." So not knowing what else to do, you all sit down cross-legged in the mud and you get stuck. The mud is sticky and it dries to you, and now you're stuck here sitting in the mud. And you have to stay, like she told you, whether you want to or not. So the stress is stay. And here are the words. I esté. He, she, it, or usted esté. You estés. They estén. And we estemos. So how would you say, I recommend that you be here? This is estar, and we're seeing an intention indicated by the first half about the second half. So this would be, I recommend que estés aquí. We've learned a lot of words at this point, so we're going to do a mini quiz that doesn't involve sentences. Instead, we're going to drill some conjugations, scene by scene, the same way that you would if you had to come up with one of these words on the fly in a sentence. The process is always, first, determine whether it's ser or estar. Second, determine the tense or mood, present, past, or subjunctive, to go to the right scene in your head. And then finally, choose the right person in the scene to give you the right conjugation. So to start out, the verb is ser. So of course you'll go to the carnival. The place is the past tense. So where do you go for that? You go into the bouncy house. And the person is the pandas, or they. So since we're in the bouncy house, the stress is going to be on and then the person is the pandas, so you have n at the end. Eran. All right, new example. The verb is estar. The place is the subjunctive, so where do you go for that? The back of the shop where we have the mud sitting around. And the person is he. So which conjugation would this be? This is simply esté. Next, how about ser? We're going to go back to ser. We're going to the present tense. What scene is that? It's going to be the entrance, the first scene that we learned for verbs. And then we're going to use usted. So who would that be? That's the snake that was having people line up to check their height. So usted es. That's the conjugation. Next, let's go back to estar. And let's go to the present tense. This is where we all walked into the magic shop. Now we're going to use the you informal. So that's your friend with the curly hair on the hovercraft, and he's juggling wands. So this is estás. One more example to practice this exercise. Let's go to estar. Let's do subjunctive. So that's going to be in the back where the mud is. And then we're going to do we. So the stress is going to be on ste for the muddy subjunctive of estar. But since it's we, it'll have mos at the end. Estemos. Okay, now let's start putting these in some sentences. But as we do, don't worry about translating anything other than the verb that translates as ser or estar. Continue to follow the exact same system we were following just now. Start by determining the verb, then determine which scene to go to, then choose the correct conjugation. She intends that I be her friend. She intends that I sea her friend. He is still at school. He está still at school. I intend that they be with her. I intend that they estén with her. My friends were unwell. My friends estaban unwell. She hopes that you be happy. She hopes that estés happy. My dog was at the vet. My dog estaba at the vet. My cat is my best friend. My cat es my best friend. I don't intend that he be sad. I don't intend that he esté sad. They intend that she be their teacher. They intend that she sea their teacher. In this one, use a formal voice. I hope that you are happy. I hope that you esté happy. They are enemies. They son enemies. Someone intends that I be sad. Someone intends that I esté sad. My mom recommends that we be at home. My mom recommends that we estemos at home. In this one, use a formal voice. I intend that you be my teacher. I intend that you sea my teacher. How did you do on this? If you did okay, then go on to today's quiz. Otherwise, you might want to spend a little more time making sure that all the conjugations are vividly distinct and all in the right places. Once again, I recommend the mapping exercise for this. Try getting out a blank piece of paper and mapping out all of your conjugations of both ser and estar. Once you're doing really well on that, rewind this video and go back through this little quiz. And then if you're predicting pretty well, go on to today's final quiz.